Chapter 667, It's Han Feng's fortune to see Senior use a flying sword. Saint Spirit Sky, Han Clan Estate. Senior, what business do you have with the Saint Spirit Sky this time? If you need the help of the Han family will definitely do their best to help you. In the hall, Han Feng looked at Xiao Changtian, who was sitting opposite him, and said slowly to him. Beside Xiao Changtian, a maid of the Han family placed a teacup on the table beside him. After a bit of fooling around with Yipin Xiang, Xiao Changtian also came to the Han family due to Han Feng's kind invitation. Picking up the teacup on the table and taking a sip, Xiao Changtian said to Han Feng slowly, Patriarch Han, it's not a big deal. It's just that you don't have a map from here to the divine realm. Han Feng was stunned when he heard Xiao Changshan's words. Could it be that Senior already knew about the map that he had asked someone to draw a while ago? In order to expand the Han family's business scope, Han Feng had just gotten someone to draw a detailed map for him not long ago. With this thought in mind, Han Feng waved at the butler beside him. Elder Han, please go to my room and get the map from my drawer. When Elder Han heard Han Feng's words, he immediately retreated respectfully. As soon as Elder Han walked out of the main hall, he felt a fragrant breeze. Miss. After seeing who it was, Han Feng also bowed slightly to her. The person who came was none other than Han Yu. When Han Yu arrived at first grade incense, she also found that Xiao Changtian and the others had returned to the Han family. Ignoring Elder Han, Han Yu directly walked into the hall. Father. Han Yu's voice slowly sounded in the hall. Han Feng, who was in the hall, smiled and said when he saw Han Yu arrive, look at your anxious appearance. Haven't you seen Senior? The reason why Han Yu was so anxious was that she heard that her good-for-nothing brother had actually provoked Xiao Changtian. Worried about Xiao Changtian, Han Yu also hurried over to take a look. Hearing Han Feng's words, Han Yu calmed her own aura and said to Xiao Changtian with a smile, Senior. Seeing Han Yu, Xiao Changtian returned her a polite smile. Miss Han Yu, it's been a while since we last met, but you've become more and more beautiful. Han Yu's face turned red as Xiao Changshan's voice sounded. Her heart was racing. Han Yu, thank you for your praise, Senior. Then, Elder Han took the map from Han Feng's room. Senior, this is the map you wanted. At this moment, Han Feng also handed the map to Xiao Changtian. After getting the map, Xiao Changtian realized that he had been out for a while. If he was not on the island, Yi Fan and the others would not be able to find him. They would probably be worried. As he thought about this, Xiao Changtian slowly said to Han Feng and the others, Patriarch Han, Miss Han Yu, it's almost sunset. I should return. Thank you for your hospitality. Xiao Changshan's voice slowly sounded in the hall. When Han Feng heard that Xiao Changtian was leaving, he hesitated for a moment. Then, he didn't try to persuade him to stay. A person like Senior must have his own meaning when doing things. If he asked her to stay, she might get annoyed. As he thought about this, Han Feng slowly said to Xiao Changtian, Senior, I'll arrange a carriage for you. This way, you won't have to travel so much. Knowing that Xiao Changtian was cultivating his heart in the mortal world, Han Feng said to Xiao Changtian slowly. Then, he slowly gestured to Elder Han beside him. Xiao Changtian waved his hand at Han Feng. Patriarch Han, thank you for your kindness, but there's no need. I'll just fly back on my sword. Sword kinesis flight. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Han Feng was also stunned for a moment, unable to react. Then, Han Feng saw Xiao Changtian make a hand gesture. Whoosh! A sharp sword with a sharp aura appeared out of thin air. Whoosh! 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 The sharp sword circled around the Han family and came to Xiao Changshan's feet. Xiao Changshan's feet also stepped on it steadily. Sword intent. What a powerful sword intent. The moment the sword flew out, Han Feng's eyes were fixed on him. When the sharp sword circled in the air, it carried waves of extremely terrifying Dao runes. 6. And the combination of the flight path seemed like a powerful spirit skill. This made Han Feng instantly enter a state of enlightenment. His cultivation base, which had not loosened after entering the Imperial Immortal Realm, also began to tremble at this moment. Patriarch Han. Patriarch Han. Seeing Han Feng staring at him in a daze, Xiao Changtian slowly said to him. Xiao Changshan's words also woke Han Feng up. Then, Han Feng slowly said to Xiao Changtian, I didn't react to Senior's intent domain just now. Seeing Han Feng's terrified expression, Xiao Changtian also said apologetically, Patriarch Han is too polite. I should be the one apologizing to Patriarch Han. I must have shocked you just now. He had also forgotten that the Han family head and the others were mortals. This was probably the first time they had seen an immortal cultivator use the flying sword technique at such a close distance. He didn't know if he had scared them just now. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Han Feng also said to Xiao Changtian in fear, to be able to see Senior use a flying sword is Han Feng's blessing. Han Feng still hasn't comprehended the concept just now. Hearing Han Feng's words, Xiao Changtian scratched the back of his head. This is just the most basic sword kinesis flying technique. There's nothing amazing about it. The most basic sword riding technique? When Han Feng heard Xiao Changshan's words, he was also shocked. This was the first time he had seen Xiao Changtian make a move. Although he had all kinds of assumptions about Xiao Changshan's strength before, he was still very confident. However, he did not see it with his own eyes. And today, Senior casually used the sword kinesis flying technique that came with Dao runes. It was actually the most basic in the hands of the seniors. It was easy to imagine Senior's true strength. Xiao Changtian said to Han Feng, Patriarch Han, if there's nothing else, I'll take my leave first. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Changshan's hand gestures changed. Then, his body shot out with a swoosh. Seeing Xiao Changtian leave, Han Yu, who was originally in the hall, wanted to say something. Then, he saw Han Feng shake his head at him. As a father, how could he not understand his daughter's thoughts? However, after witnessing Xiao Changshan's strength, Han Feng also knew that his daughter's wish would probably not come true. However, she should be able to fight for a position as a bedwarming maid. With this thought in mind, Han Feng also said to Han Yu beside him, work hard in the direction of being a bedwarming maid. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 668, The Heretic Race's Action, 1, It was a strange place. It was surrounded by a hall that emitted a dark aura. In the hall, a burly man wearing flaming armor stood slowly. The man stood in the hall, his body carrying an imposing aura. Below him were rows of dark soldiers in armor. The soldiers looked at the man respectfully. Obviously, this man had absolute control over the dark soldiers. This king has come to the border. I believe everyone here knows what my purpose is. Who can tell me what happened when those two high-level demons were killed? The weak humans in the human realm upon heavens do not have any means to purify the evil energy. This man was the leader of a noble clan from the evil race, General Yen. Different from humans, the nobility of the heretic tribe was not hereditary. If he wanted to obtain the status of a noble, he had to rely on himself. And General Yan's empty right arm was the best proof of his strength. His missing arm was the price he had to pay for killing the Grandmaster in the previous battle. After General Yan's voice sounded in the hall, none of the dark soldiers below made a sound. After a long while, the leader of the dark team who stood in the front row slowly said to General Yan, General, according to our investigation of the human realm upon heavens, we caught a human from the human realm upon heavens. Perhaps we can get some clues from him. Upon hearing the dark team leader's words, General Yen slowly said to him, Very good. What's your name? Reporting to General, my name is Wu Xie. Wu Xie. Very good, I know you, the genius of the Dark Army. I heard that you started cultivating when you were 3 years old, and that you were able to fight on the battlefield when you were 6. Moreover, many experts in the human realm upon heavens have fallen at your hands. From what I see today, the rumors are probably true. You didn't disappoint me. Thank you for your praise, General Yen. Hearing Yan Jiang's words, Wu Xie slowly responded to him. Then, General Yen slowly said to him, bring the human you captured. After his voice sounded, a fat man was slowly pulled into the hall. Let go of me, let go of me. Who are you? The fat man was dragged into the hall by 2 armored dark soldiers. At the same time, he kept roaring. He only remembered that he was preparing to make a fortune in the Heavenly Fire Mountain range. He hadn't expected a little girl to attract the Scarlet Blood Evil Dragon. He seemed to have been hit by the flames at that time, but how did he end up here? Useless human. Seeing the fat man, General Yen said disdainfully. Then, she came in front of the fat man and slowly raised his face. Who are you? Seeing General Yen in front of him, the fat man slowly said to him. Evil race, General Yen. Evil race? Hearing General Yan's words, the fat man was shocked. Although his strength was low, he lived near the Heavenly Fire Mountain range all year round. Under the influence of the demons, he had heard of the legendary demons. Wasn't that the enemy of the entire human realm upon heavens? Why did he encounter her now? With this thought in his heart, General Yan's voice slowly sounded. Human, let me ask you, who defeated the Scarlet Blood Evil Dragon in the Heavenly Fire Mountains? The Scarlet Blood Evil Dragon had been defeated? Hearing General Yan's words, the fat man was also shocked. When the Scarlet Blood Evil Dragon had appeared, he had personally witnessed how terrifying it was. He did not expect that someone would actually defeat him. With this thought in mind, the fat man suddenly felt a sense of superiority from beyond the heavens. Why should I tell you? Let me tell you, you better let go of me. Otherwise, when the Grandmasters arrive, you will be killed. At that time, you won't even have the chance to beg for mercy. Hearing the fat man's words, a smile appeared on General Yan's face. Humans, interesting. Following that, a vigorous aura burst forth from General Yan's body. According to the cultivation of the Grandmaster, this aura clearly had the might of a creation immortal. General Yan's aura was like a 1,000-pound boulder pressing down on the plump man's chest. At this moment, General Yen slowly said to the fat man in front of him, Are you going to tell me who defeated the Scarlet Blood Evil Dragon? I have nothing to say to you. At this moment, the fat man also withstood the pressure and said to General Yen. As long as he could hold on, the people from beyond heavens would come to his rescue when he reached the bottom. He would be able to jump up and enjoy the rest of his life. Very good. Yan Jiang saw the fat man's stubborn appearance and slowly said. Then, a flame slowly rose from his palm, and the temperature in the entire hall rose by a few degrees. Whoosh! The flaming palm grabbed the fat man's thigh. Ah! Then, the fat man's scream echoed in the hall. Are you going to tell me or not? At this moment, General Yen smiled at the fat man in front of him. Seeing Yan Jiang's smiling expression, the fat man seemed to see the devil's heart beneath his smile. The fat man did not doubt that if he did not say anything, this evil race would kill him on the spot. With this thought in mind, the fat man immediately said to General Yen in front of him, Stop, stop, stop. I'll tell you. Hearing the fat man's words, Yan Jiang smiled and let go of his palm. The fat man's thigh had already been charred black. Covering his thigh with his hand, the fat man hurriedly said to General Yen, Sir, I'm not too sure either. I only know that there's a little girl. At this moment, the fat man told General Yen everything he had experienced in the Heavenly Fire Mountain range. You're saying that he walked to the center of the basin and the Scarlet Blood Evil Dragon came out? At this moment, General Yen stood in front of the fat man and said to him with a smile. "Yes, my lord." Afraid that General Yen would burn him again, the fat man hurriedly responded. Then, General Yen waved his hand, and a few dark soldiers dragged the fat man away. "Sir, spare my life. Spare my life," the fat man said in fear as he was dragged away by the dark soldiers. After dragging the fat man away, General Yen said to an evil race being beside him, "Wuxin, this is the fragrant wood. It can conceal your evil race's aura from being detected. Go to the human realm upon heaven secretly and find out more about it. Remember, don't alert the enemy." "All right, General Yen." As soon as General Yen finished speaking, an evil race member walked out from a corner of the hall. She took the fragrant wood from him and walked out. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 669, Humans Are Really Cunning. 1. Evil Race, Dark Main Hall. After Wuxin left, 2 dark soldiers walked in from outside. "How's it going?" Yan Jiang slowly said to them when he saw the 2 of them return. "My lord, we've already planted a goo worm in that human. If there's anything unusual, we can know at any time." Hearing the words of the 2 dark soldiers, Yan Jiang nodded in satisfaction. At this moment, Wu Xia walked over from the side. "General Yan, don't you think we've been a little too cautious? I think we should just find an opportunity to kill our way over." When Yan Jiang heard Wu Xia's words, he waved his hand at him. "Wu Xia, although humans are not strong, they are very cunning. Moreover, their formation hasn't completely lost its power yet. If we rashly go over, it'll be disadvantageous to us. That formation can't stop the attacks of the clan." At this moment, Wu Xia continued to speak to Yan Jiang. "Captain Wu Xia, I think we should wait here for Wuxin's news. Don't worry, Wuxin isn't a fool. With Wuxin's strength, not many of those humans could survive." "Yes, yes." After Wu Ming finished speaking, General Yen nodded in agreement. Then, he patted Wu Xia's shoulder. "Wu Xia, I know you are brave and good at fighting, but this matter is settled. We can talk about other things later." Hearing Yan Jiang's words, Wu Xia did not say anything more. He thought about how Wuxin was not weak, and it did not seem to be a problem for him to go over. He greeted General Yen and went to his room to rest. At the same time, in the Heavenly Fire Mountain range, a figure slowly walked out of the void. After Wuxin received General Yan's order, he rushed to the Heavenly Fire Mountain range without stopping. Finding out Guo Yurong's ability was a big deal for the evil race. If Guo Yurong really had the ability to purify evil energy, that was bad news for the evil race. After all, there was no one in the human race who could purify their evil aura. After the battle in the Heavenly Fire Mountain range, there were many cultivators who wanted to pick up the loot. Wuxin looked at the cultivators below and arrived in front of them in a flash. An aura comparable to that of an imperial immortal emitted from his body and attacked the cultivators in the Heavenly Fire Mountain range. "Ah!" Miserable screams rang out continuously in the Heavenly Fire Mountain range. "Tell me, did a little girl come here before?" Wuxin stepped on a cultivator and said to him emotionlessly. What little girl?" "Senior, I don't know anything." Bang! Before the cultivator could finish speaking, Wuxin stepped on him. His entire body exploded. After the cultivator under his feet was taken care of, Wu Xin's figure flashed and arrived at another cultivator. Soon, the cultivators in the Heavenly Fire Mountain range were also slaughtered by Wuxin. Wuxin's blood-stained hands slowly brushed across his lips. Is the little girl in the divine realm? After searching the souls of these cultivators and interrogating them, Wu Xian also deduced that Guo Yurong was in the divine world. On the other side, after Shao Changtian left the Han family, he also sped back to the 100,000 Mountains. Look, Master is back. In the 100,000 mountains, Di Wuzheng saw a stream of light in the sky and said to his other senior brothers and sisters. This was the first time Di Wuzheng had seen Shao Changtian and the others use their spiritual skills. They quickly gathered together and waited for Shao Changshan's arrival. Shao Changtian controlled his flying sword and slowly landed on the island. He looked at Di Wuzheng and the others who were waiting for him. Shao Changtian was also touched. He did not take in this group of disciples for nothing. They still knew how to be grateful. "Master, you're so handsome." At this moment, Di Wuzheng said slowly to Shao Changtian. Hearing Di Wuzheng's words, Shao Changtian smiled at Di Wuzheng and the others. He could understand their feelings. After all, in the cultivation world, who wouldn't ride a flying sword in the air? However, he seemed to know what his disciples would ask of him. Shao Changtian was the first to speak to Di Wuzheng and the others. "Master knows what you're thinking. When there's a chance, Master will help you build a large kite. I'm here to let you experience the joy of flying." Needless to say, these brats would definitely pester him later. He wanted to teach them the sword kinesis flying technique. However, he did not learn it either. He had cheated. How was he supposed to teach them? To avoid trouble, Shao Changtian promised them to make large kites. After hearing Shao Changshan's words, Di Wuzheng said excitedly, "Master, what materials do you need for a large kite?" "We'll help you find them." They weren't interested in flying, but in the large kite that Shao Changtian mentioned. Hearing Di Wuzheng's words, Shao Changtian slowly said to them, "High-quality wood is needed to make the large kites sturdy. You won't fall." Originally, there was no shortage of wood on this island. However, due to the construction of various palaces a while ago, there was no shortage of wood. The wood on the island was almost used up. However, there was no need to be anxious. When the time came, he would just let Di Tian and the others go out and buy another batch. Thinking so, he said to Di Wuzheng and the others, "There's no hurry. Let me see what you've been doing recently." Di Wuzheng smiled at Shao Changtian. "Master, my stomach hurts a little. I'm going to the toilet." "Master, me too." After a while, Di Wuzheng and the others disappeared from Shao Changshan's sight. If Shao Changtian found out that they were in the sutra depository all day long, they would be killed. He would probably be scolded again. However, there was nothing he could do. Who asked his master to write such awesome books? At the same time, in the periphery of the divine world, a figure slowly stepped out from the void. Looking at the ball of light in his hand, he slowly said, "So the divine realm is a lower realm. From the looks of it, that little girl should not have the ability either. Humans are really cunning." Although he did not have the heart to look down on the lower realm like the divine world. He had killed countless of such lower realms in the Great War. However, to be on the safe side, he was still prepared to go and investigate. Then, Wuxin's figure slowly walked towards the direction of the divine world. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 670. Sir, I'll go take a look. 1. Divine Realm, 100,000 mountains. The spiritual energy in this lower realm is so thin. That human is probably bluffing. As he said that, Wuxin looked at the 100,000 mountains in disdain. After entering the 100,000 mountains, Wuxin glanced at the cliffs on both sides. Humph. A wisp of true essence slowly gathered in his hand, and then he attacked to the side. Bang! The mountain wall was hit unintentionally and turned into broken rocks. Wuxin shook his head when he saw the mountain wall being shattered by him. Looking at this place, it was undoubtedly a lower realm. There was nothing special about it. Since this was the case, he would directly destroy this place. Then, he could go back and report. With this thought in mind, Wuxin leaped up with both legs and flew into the air. Whoosh! Wuxin's figure stopped in midair. Then, he saw the island that Xiao Changtian and the others were on, surrounded by mountains. So those humans are hiding here. However, destroy them. As he said that, a powerful energy slowly gathered at Wuxin's fingertips. Then, he pointed his finger at the island, and a thick energy pillar attacked the island. Bang! The expected destruction of the island did not happen. On the contrary, the island looked exactly the same as before. It was as if he had not been attacked. What was going on? At this moment, Wuxin was also puzzled. Then, Wuxin saw streams of light flying out from the island. Whoosh! 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 A huge flag with a monstrous aura surrounded Wuxin. Looking at the flags around him, Wuxin could sense danger from them. Whoosh! Without any hesitation, Wuxin also turned around and walked back. However, not long after Wuxin walked out, the Nine Heavens God-Sealing Formation also emitted beams of light. Wuxin was hit by the Nine Heavens God-Sealing Formation, and she let out a miserable cry. What is this? Wuxin looked at his arm that had been hit by the beam of light. At this moment, his arm was being disintegrated by the light beam of the Nine Heavens God-Sealing Array and turned into nothingness. Following that, Wuxin's hand gestures changed as he muttered something. Wind transformation. As soon as Wuxin finished speaking, his entire body rapidly expanded. Bang! Wuxin's body exploded in midair. As the explosion ended, Wuxin's illusory figure appeared outside the 100,000 mountains. What exactly was that thing just now? I should hurry back and tell Lord Yanjiang. With this thought in mind, Wuxin flew out. Just as Wuxin turned around, a dignified voice sounded in Wuxin's heart. Evil race, do you think you can still leave? Who is it? Who is it? Hearing this voice, Wuxin said to the surrounding people in fear. He had the fragrant wood given to him by Lord General of the Flame Army, which could shield his heretic race aura. How could anyone see his identity clearly? Could it be those powerful beings of the human race? After all, it was still possible for the old men to see through his identity. No one responded to him. Then, Wuxin saw a golden dragon claw attack him. Seeing the golden dragon claw, Wuxin was even more terrified. No, you're not from the Righteous Path Alliance. What that human said is true. Wuxin also felt an aura that could purify him from the dragon claw. If he was hit by him, there was absolutely no possibility of him surviving. Bang! The dragon claw didn't give Wuxin any chance to escape. It pierced through Wuxin's body right in front of his horrified eyes. Then, Wuxin's entire body turned into nothingness in midair. Bang! Wuxin was destroyed, and a loud bang sounded in the air. At this moment, on the island, Xiao Changtian hurriedly stood up from his rocking chair. What happened? Xiao Changtian looked at the outer area of the 100,000 mountains and hurriedly walked out. Passing through the small lake, Xiao Yan arrived at the outskirts of the 100,000 mountains. At this moment, in the mountain path of the valley, there were a few pieces of wood and some gravel. Then, Xiao Changtian looked around. There was no one there. Xiao Changtian looked at the rocks on the ground and then at the mountain peak. Did he fall from the mountain? It was probably the case. After all, it was unlikely that anyone would enter the 100,000 mountains on a normal day. It just so happened that he needed some wood recently. Looking at the situation, there seemed to be a lot of wood stored on this mountain. Senior, what happened outside? At this moment, the figure of the great sun immortal slowly appeared in Xiao Changshan's vision. After hearing the loud noise in the valley, Daoist De Yang was also worried about what was happening outside, so he quickly came to the valley. Xiao Changtian waved at him when he saw the great sun immortal. It's nothing. Maybe some wood from the mountain fell down. But I might have to trouble you to help me move these logs to the island. I want to make a giant kite for Di Wuzheng and the others. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the great sun immortal was stunned for a moment, then he nodded to Xiao Changtian. All right, Senior. After all, Senior has recently started to use the sword kinesis flying technique. It's normal for him to create a divine weapon or something. It seemed that Senior's plan had entered the final stage. With this thought in mind, Daoist Big Sun also helped Xiao Changtian bring the wood over. At the same time, in the palace of the clan, General Yen stood in the center of the palace, frowning slightly. Why hasn't there been any news about Wuxin? Could it be that the human race really has a method to purify us evil race? As he said this, General Yen was also a little worried. If Wuxin was discovered by the humans, Yan Jiang could still understand. After all, those old men from the righteous Dao Alliance could still discover the identity of the evil race through the fragrant wood. But now, there was no aura at all, and Yan Jiang felt that something was wrong. That was because the human race had never had any means to purify the evil race. It was impossible to kill Wuxin completely. Seeing General Yan's worried look, Wu Nameless also walked out from the side and slowly said to General Yan, "Sir, are you worried about Wuxin?" When Yan Jiang heard Wu Ming's words, he slowly walked towards him and nodded at him. "That's right. He's been out for so long, but there's no news at all. Milord, why don't you let me take a look?" At this moment, Wu Ming slowly said to General Yan in front of him. Hearing Wu Ming's words, General Yan nodded at him. Yes, yes. Go and take a look. Report to me immediately if there's any news." After General Yan finished speaking, Wu Ming's figure also disappeared from the palace. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 671, Father's Invitation to Dinner, 1, Barbaric Heaven, Skyfire Mountains. In the air, Wu Ming's figure slowly appeared. There's Wuxin's aura here. It seems like Wuxin has been here before. According to the aura that Wuxin left behind, we should be able to find his location very quickly. With this thought in mind, Wu Ming waved his hand. He took out a piece of black and white paper from his interspatial ring. Black and white paper. Nameless Treasure, Ji, stepped on the black and white flying paper, and Nameless figure flew into the distance. This black and white flying paper was one of the most precious treasures of the evil race. It was on the same level as the top-grade immortal artifacts of humans. The black and white paper did not have any offensive power, but its speed was extremely fast. Wuxin relied on this black and white paper to rank among the best among the dark soldiers. After all, every time someone fought with him, he might be killed by me before he could even make a move. At the same time, on the island of the Divine Realm's 100,000 mountains, the Great Sun Immortal slowly walked into Xiao Changshan's room from outside the 10,000 mountains. Seeing Xiao Changtian lying on his rocking chair, the Great Sun Immortal said to him slowly, "Senior, there's a person outside who calls himself Li Feng who wants to see you. I wonder if it's convenient for you to meet him." Xiao Changtian was also surprised to hear what the Great Sun Immortal said. It was little Fengzi. It was all thanks to him that he was able to successfully obtain the black ice crystal last time. He wanted to find a chance to thank them. With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian said to the Great Sun Immortal slowly, "Daoist Big Sun, bring me there." After hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the Great Sun Immortal brought Xiao Changtian to the periphery of the 100,000 mountains. At this moment, Li Feng had already prepared a carriage outside the 100,000 mountains. Seeing Xiao Changtian walk out from the 10,000 mountains, Li Feng also walked over. "Senior, that father wants to invite you to the Li family to express your gratitude for saving his life in the Heavenly Fire Mountain Range." Hearing Li Feng's words, Xiao Changtian was stunned. Then, he thought of the fire-breathing demon beast in the Heavenly Fire Mountain Range. It turned out that Xiao Fengzi was thanking him for warning them about the demon beasts in the mountains. As he thought about this, Xiao Changtian slowly said to Li Feng, "It's nothing. It's just a small matter. It's me who has to thank you." Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Li Feng scratched the back of his head. "Senior, father has already prepared a banquet and is waiting for you." After knowing that Xiao Changtian was an expert of the human race, Li Chaoyuan also asked Li Feng to bring him over. Xiao Changtian heard what Li had said and slowly said, "All right then." Then, Xiao Changtian turned around and said slowly to the great sun immortal behind him, "Perfected De Yang, that mountain might not be peaceful recently. It'll have to trouble you to take care of it." When the great sun immortal heard Xiao Changshan's words, he nodded. Then, Xiao Changtian got into Li Feng's carriage and headed toward the barbaric heaven. At the same time, in the Li family of the barbaric heaven. In the hall of the Li family, in the center of Li Keiwan's sitting position. On both sides of him, there were also higher-ups of the Li family. The atmosphere in the hall seemed a little serious. At this moment, Li Chaoyuan slowly said to everyone, "All the elders in the family have returned, right? Since that's the case, I won't waste my breath. I've gathered everyone here today for one purpose. The senior who defeated the Scarlet Blood Evil Dragon in the Heavenly Fire Mountains is on his way to the Li clan. And this senior also had some friction with our Li family before. So I plan to give that senior 90% of the mine that the family dug this year. I wonder what everyone thinks about this matter." Hearing Li Keiwan's words, the group of Li family elders looked at each other. Then, an elder of the Li family stood up from his seat. "I agree with the family head's decision. If we can build a good relationship with that senior, then what our Li family has obtained far exceeds that 90%. An elder came out to speak. Soon, another Li family elder came out. "I agree. It's not like we haven't seen that senior's strength before. I'm afraid it's an existence at the level of a creation immortal, on the same level as our ancestor. When the time comes, with two creation immortals protecting our Li family's business will probably soar rapidly." Following that, the other higher-ups of the Li family also walked out and expressed their agreement to Li Keiwan's suggestion. 90% of the harvest might be a little painful for them. However, compared to Xiao Changshan's relationship, they felt that it was not a loss at all. Seeing that everyone from the Li family had agreed, Li Chaoyuan nodded in satisfaction. Since no one has any objections, then this matter is settled. At the same time, Li Feng brought Xiao Changtian to the Li family. This was the first time Xiao Changtian had come to the Li family. He saw the magnificent courtyard of the Li family and the dazzling array of decorations around it. Xiao Changtian sighed in his heart. This little Fengzi was born with a golden spoon in his mouth. At this moment, Li Feng said to Xiao Changtian, "Senior, please wait here for a moment. I'll go and inform father." When he went to pick up Xiao Changtian, Li Feng knew that Li Chaoyuan and the others were in a meeting. Therefore, he planned to go over and take a look. Hearing Li Feng's words, Xiao Changtian nodded at him. "No problem. You go ahead. I'll just walk around here casually." After Li Feng went to the Li family's hall, a voice slowly sounded in Xiao Changshan's ears. "Xiao Changtian." Hearing someone calling his name, Xiao Changtian also turned around. "The lady in red. Why are you here?" At this moment, the woman in red slowly said to Xiao Changtian. After he was captured by Di Wuzheng and the others, Hong Yi used the opportunity when Xiao Changtian let him go to escape from the island. Seeing Xiao Changtian here, he was a little surprised. Then, Hong Yi continued to speak to Xiao Changtian, "Don't think that I don't know what you're planning. But let me tell you, I'm already Li Feng's girlfriend. Li Feng's ancestor is a creation immortal. He will avenge me. Just wait for your death." When the red-clothed woman spoke, she also had a feeling of being proud and exhilarated. After finding out that Li Feng's ancestor was a creation immortal, she thought of ways to get close to him. He had even given up his most precious thing. And all these efforts were waiting for the results today. At the same time, Feng Feng and Li Chaoyuan walked out of the Li family's hall. He heard the words of the woman in red. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 672, Shut Up. 1. Barbaric Heaven. Li family. When the Li family heard the woman in red's words, they were shocked. Shut up. At this moment, Li Feng shouted at the red-clothed woman. He had only gotten to know this woman in red a few days ago. At that time, she looked very handsome and liked him very much. So, he started dating her. He didn't expect that this red-clothed woman had a grudge with Senior. If Senior were to misunderstand that the Li family was actually in contact with his enemy, he would definitely be killed. This not only made all the efforts of his father and the others go to waste. Moreover, it might worsen the relationship between Senior and the Li family. At that time, it was hard to say what would happen to the entire Li family. Soon, Li Feng arrived beside the woman in red and covered her mouth with his hand. Li Feng, what are you doing? This is the person I told you about before. You said you would help me. Seeing Li Feng come over, the woman's face was filled with joy. She removed Li Feng's hand. Then, she told Li Feng that Xiao Changtian was her enemy. Li Feng saw that he was unable to hold the woman's mouth. Pa! At this moment, a crisp slap slowly sounded in the Li family. Li Feng slapped the woman in red, leaving a clear palm print on her face. The red-robed woman was slapped by Li Feng and did not react. Before this, Li Feng did not treat him like this. He was completely obedient to him. Why did he suddenly hit her today? At this moment, the red-clothed woman also slowly said to Li Feng, what do you mean by this? Didn't you say before, Pa? Another crisp slap sounded. This time, perhaps because Li Feng had used too much force, the woman in red fell to the ground. At this moment, Li Feng only wanted the woman in red to stop talking. It would have been better if he hadn't said anything just now. If he really said something that caused Senior to misunderstand, then wouldn't he become a sinner of the Li family? At that time, not only would the Senior not let him off, but he would also be able to escape. His father and the elders of the Li family would probably not let him off either. Thinking of this, Li Feng also wanted the red-dressed woman to quickly fall to the ground and stop talking. However, at this moment, Li Feng also saw the woman in red slowly get up from the ground. Li Feng, why are you like this? It's because, why was this woman so resistant to being hit? Li Feng was also a little anxious at this moment. He hurriedly condensed a wisp of true essence in his hand. Then, he slapped the woman in red's face. After being hit by Li Feng's slap, the woman in red was sent flying outside. Xiao Changtian, who was watching from the side, sighed inwardly. This Xiao Feng's method of curing lunatics was really unique. He didn't know what was going on with this woman in red, but she kept saying that he was her enemy. When I came to this cultivation world, I didn't have any cultivation or strength. Forget about humans, he didn't even know if he had killed an ant. One had to know that one step could turn into a demonic beast. However, why hadn't he thought of little Feng's this method of healing before? Perhaps he would go back and study it when he had the time. At this time, Li Feng also came to Xiao Changtian and said to him slowly, Senior, I don't know where this crazy woman came from. Well, deal with it properly. Hearing Li Feng's words, Xiao Changtian nodded at him. It's okay. It's not the first time I've seen this person. I wanted to treat her last time, but it didn't seem to be very effective. You gave me a lot of inspiration just now. Don't worry about me. At this moment, Xiao Changtian slowly said to Li Feng. At this moment, Li Chaoyuan also came to Xiao Changshan's side and said slowly, Senior, don't worry. Our Li clan will definitely give you an explanation for this matter. Hearing Li Keiwan's words, Xiao Changtian waved his hand. It's all right, it's all right. Then, under Li Keiwan's signal, a few disciples of the Li family brought Xiao Changtian into the hall. In the hall of the Li family, Li Chaoyuan had already prepared all kinds of delicacies for Xiao Changtian. Now, they also hoped that these delicacies could make Xiao Changtian feel better. Li Chaoyuan followed Xiao Changtian into the hall. When he entered, he glared at Li Feng. Sensing Li Keiwan's gaze, Li Feng also knew that this time, he was going to challenge Li Chaoyuan. Then, he took a deep breath and slowly walked toward the woman in red. Lying on the ground, the red-robed woman heard the conversation between Xiao Changtian and Li Feng. When she saw Li Feng who had come in front of her, the red-robed woman suppressed the slightly chaotic blood essence in her body. He slowly said to Li Feng, why? Aren't you the only son of the Li family? Didn't you say that you're the descendant of the creation immortal? Why are you so afraid of that person? Hearing the woman in red's words, Li Feng was also unable to vent his anger. Did this red-robed woman really not know, or was she pretending not to know? The senior standing in front of her was also a creation immortal. You still want me to offend a powerful creation immortal for you? Isn't this asking me to die? From now on, I, Li Feng, have nothing to do with you. At this moment, Li Feng slowly said to the red-clothed woman. Hearing Li Feng's words, the woman in red was also stunned. Why? Is it because of this mortal? That Xiao Changtian? Is your family of creation immortals so afraid of him? Where did your family's face go? When Li Feng heard the woman in red's words, he slowly said to her, I can only say this. There are some people you can't afford to offend, and shouldn't offend. Since you have offended me, you should bear the consequences. I advise you to have a certain amount of respect for Senior Xiao. Otherwise, you wouldn't even know how you died. The woman in red smiled when she heard Li Feng's words. No, how can he make a creation immortal family so afraid? I have to find out the reason. Did he have something on your family? Li Feng shook his head when he heard the woman in red. Then, he also struck the back of the red-clothed woman's head. Li Feng felt that if this red-dressed woman continued to speak, not only would something happen to her, but the Li family would probably be gone. After a while, 2 Li family disciples came in from outside and carried the woman out. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 673, Wuxin is here. 1. Divine Realm, 100,000 mountains. In the lake in front of the island, the black water dragon was swimming freely in the water. His body floated on the surface of the water, enjoying the sunlight. Now, the Blackwater Dragon had fully adapted to his role as Xiao Changshan's gatekeeper to the island. After Xiao Changtian arrived, not only did his cultivation improve by leaps and bounds, but he also had the guidance of the ancestral dragon. As time passed, the other mythical beasts on the island acknowledged him more and more. He thought about how he could get such a strong thigh. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon felt a little smug. At this moment, the Blackwater Dragon turned around and looked in the direction of the valley. At this moment, a nameless figure was slowly approaching from the periphery of the valley. Following Wuxin's aura, Wu Ming continued to pursue for a while and finally arrived at the 100,000 mountains. Looking at the 100,000 mountains in front of him, Nameless narrowed his eyes. The fog on the mountain actually carried a mysterious aura. Could Wuxin be inside? With this thought in mind, Wu Ming walked straight into the 100,000 mountains. Hiss! In the valley, a scream rang out. The moment Wu Ming entered the 100,000 mountains, a giant python in the valley also attacked him. Humph! Wu Ming snorted coldly. The true essence in his palm slowly gathered and attacked the oncoming python. Then, the python's body exploded in front of Nameless. Hiss! 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 After the giant python was destroyed, other ferocious beasts ran out from both sides of the valley and attacked Nameless. You're courting death. Seeing more beasts attacking him, Wu Ming also raised his hands. The primeval essence in his palm gathered to form two huge light balls. Holding the ball of light in his hand, Wu Ming threw it at the oncoming fierce beast. Instantly, the beasts that had attacked Nameless fell to the ground one after another. At this moment, the ancestral dragon also popped its head out from the lake. It slowly said to the Blackwater dragon on the lake's surface, "Xiao He, let him come over. Let the formation deal with him." "All right, senior." Hearing the ancestral dragon's words, the Blackwater dragon did not dare to be negligent and let out a cry. Then, in the valley, those fierce beasts hid one after another. Seeing that the valley had regained its peace, Wu Ming also directly passed through the valley. When he arrived in front of the lake and saw the fragrant wood on the island, he was delighted. Since the fragrant wood was here, Wu Xin should be nearby as well. Following that, Wu Ming also saw the black flood dragon on the lake. An immortal king-level demon beast. This lower realm is indeed different. However, that's all. As soon as he finished speaking, an energy ball appeared in Wu Ming's hand. He threw it at the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon, just like how he threw it at the ferocious beasts in the valley. How arrogant! Seeing that the Blackwater Dragon did not seem to care about his energy ball, he could not help but sigh. A bloodthirsty smile appeared on Wu Ming's face. What happened? The scene of the Blackwater Dragon being blown into pieces did not happen. On the contrary, Nameless saw his energy ball disappear into thin air. Then, Wu Ming felt a wave of energy fluctuation around him. Whoosh! 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 Large flags surrounded him in the center. Playing tricks. Wu Ming said slowly when he saw these flags. Then, he placed his hands in front of his chest and waved them down, releasing all the true essence in his body. He condensed a few huge energy balls around his body and attacked the few flags. Bang! Just like before, the energy ball hit the flag, but it did not cause any ripples. At this moment, the flag also lit up. Seeing the light on the flag, Nameless' eyes were filled with fear. Without any hesitation, his hand gestures changed. The black and white flying paper under his feet appeared, displaying his maximum speed. He flew out of the 100,000 mountains. Bang! However, before Nameless could fly far, a huge golden dragon claw flew down from the sky. It ruthlessly pierced through his body, and then, Nameless' body turned into nothingness in midair. On the ground was the black and white paper he had brought with him. The Black Flood Dragon saw the ancestral dragon kill Nameless and then saw the black and white flying paper on the ground. He exhaled. Senior Ancestral Dragon is still Senior Ancestral Dragon. With such strength, we can't even compare him. At this moment, the Blackwater Dragon slowly said to the Ancestral Dragon, "Senior Ancestral Dragon, it'll help you get that piece of paper." "Yes, bring that paper over. Perhaps Master will use it in the future." As soon as he finished speaking, the Ancestral Dragon sank into the bottom of the lake again. After the Ancestral Dragon finished speaking, the Blackwater Dragon also took back the black and white flying paper. At the same time, in the hall of the Li family, Xiao Changtian was sitting in the main hall of the Li family. There was a table in front of him with all kinds of exotic delicacies. These were all food that Li Chaoyuan had ordered people to carefully find from various places. Not only did these ingredients taste delicious, but they also contained a huge amount of energy. To immortal cultivators, it was no different from the panaceas refined by alchemists. Sitting beside the guest table, Xiao Changshan's face was filled with joy. Li Chaoyuan suddenly said that his family had too many mines and wanted to give some to him. She had wanted to reject him, but he was too enthusiastic. She had no choice but to reject him. It was difficult to reject his kindness. However, this also made Xiao Changtian understand that in this cultivation world, the rich were so rich that oil flowed out of them, while the poor were so poor that they were sour. After dinner, Xiao Changtian slowly returned to the divinity under Li Keiwan's arrangement. At this moment, at the entrance of the Li family, Li Chaoyuan stood at the gate of the Li family and saw the direction where Xiao Changtian had left. He heaved a sigh of relief and wiped the sweat off his forehead. Fortunately, Senior was eating very happily at the dining table and did not take the matter of that woman to heart. Otherwise, their Li family would have made things worse this time. Then, Li Chaoyuan slowly said to old Tu beside him, "Elder Tu, bring me that unfilial son." After he finished speaking, Li Feng also walked in front of Li Chaoyuan submissively. "Father." Seeing Li Feng, Li Chaoyuan was also disappointed and pointed at his forehead. "Do you know what you've done? From today onwards, shut yourself up at home and reflect on your mistakes." Hearing Li Keiwan's words, Li Feng did not refute and walked out of the hall. "Wait, what did you do with that woman?" "Father, I've already sent him away." "At least you have some self-awareness." Hearing Li Feng's words, Li Chaoyuan nodded and asked the servant to take Li Feng away. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 674, Thank You, Blackie, 1, in a dark hall of the evil race. In the main hall, General Yen sat on a huge skeletal chair. She held her chin with her hand and looked a little worried. For some unknown reason, Yen Jiang had been feeling uneasy for the past few days. Sigh. He sighed slowly. At this moment, Wu Xia slowly walked in from outside the hall. Hearing General Yan's sigh, Wu Xia said to General Yan, "Milord, is there something troubling you?" "Oh, it's Wu Xia." After seeing who it was, General Yan slowly stood up from his seat. He slowly walked towards Wu Xia. "Wu Xia, you said that Wu Xian and Wu Ming have been in heavens beyond for some time now. Why is there no news at all? Could what that human said be true?" At this point, the worry in General Yan's words was very obvious. If it was really as that fat human said, a little girl would appear among the humans. With a method to purify their evil aura, it would be beneficial for the future war. It was a disadvantageous factor that could turn the tide of the battle. Hearing Yen Jiang's words, Wu Xia was also a little hesitant. At first, he didn't take the fat man's words seriously. After all, the evil race and the human race had been fighting for so many years and they knew each other very well. How could they not know that this human could purify evil energy? However, Wu Xian and Wu Ming had not returned for such a long time. It also made his heart waver. With that thought in mind, Wu Xia turned to General Yan and said slowly, "Sir, why don't you let me go to heavens beyond?" Hearing Wu Xia's words, Yen Jiang looked at him slowly. Wu Xia was the strongest among all the dark soldiers. If he went, even if the human race really had some means to purify evil qi, he would not be able to do so. Then he should be able to escape. After all, according to the cultivation system of the human race, Wu Xia was also at the level of a creation immortal. However, General Yan was still a little worried. Then, he said to the dark soldiers guarding the hall, "Go and bring that human over." As soon as General Yan finished speaking, the dark soldiers began to walk out. He was confident in Wu Xia's strength. However, just in case, General Yan still wanted that human to go with him. After all, if something happened to Wu Xia and she died there, it would be a huge loss for the evil race. With this thought in mind, the dark soldier brought the fat man over. Seeing the fat man, General Yan said slowly to Wu Xia, "Wu Xia, let this human go with you. He is more familiar with the situation in the human realm upon heavens than we are." When Wu Xia heard Shi Yan's words, she did not say much and only nodded at him. Following that, Yen Jiang also arrived in front of the fat man. He opened his palm and a black bug appeared in it. Then, the dark soldier beside the fat man opened his mouth. Yen Jiang placed the black worm in his hand into the fat man's mouth. Ah. When the fat man saw a black bug enter his mouth, he also vomited. Seeing the fat man's appearance, General Yen smiled at him and said, "Stop struggling. That was the deadly flying insect I've been nurturing for many years. Without my guidance, he can't come out of your body. And if I wanted to kill you, I only needed to trigger it, and that bug would eat away at your organs. Alright, let's cut the crap. This time, I want you to follow Wu Xia and listen to his commands, understand?" At this moment, General Yen stood in front of the fat man and said to him with a smile. Hearing General Yan's words, the fat man did not hesitate. "I know, sir. I will do it well. Please don't kill me." Following that, Wu Xia brought the plump man and flew towards heavens beyond. At the same time, Xiao Changtian also returned to the divine realm from the Li family. Arriving at the 100,000 mountains again, Xiao Changtian was ready to cross the lake by boat. At this moment, the water on the surface of the lake also churned. Then, the black water dragon swam to Xiao Changtian. "Senior, let me bring you there." Xiao Changtian smiled at the black water dragon who came to take him across the lake. It had been a long time since he had seen Little Black. He did not expect that he could still speak human language. His cultivation must have improved recently. With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian slowly stepped on the back of the Blackwater dragon. Following that, Xiao Changtian slowly returned to the island under the guidance of the Blackwater dragon. "Thank you, Xiao He." Xiao Changtian said to the Blackwater dragon as they arrived on the island. The Black Flood dragon also remembered the ancestral dragon's instructions when it heard Xiao Changshan's words. He placed the black and white paper in front of Xiao Changtian. Seeing the paper in front of him, Xiao Changtian was also stunned for a moment, but he quickly reacted. Little Black knew him well. He knew that he was going to make a giant kite for Di Wuzheng and the others. She helped him find these papers. As a demonic beast, Little Black was still very understanding of human nature. They were much more pleasing to the eye than the small animals given by the system. At least, they only knew how to cause trouble for him. But he had never helped her. With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian said to the Blackwater dragon again, "Xiao He, well done. Thank you." Then, Xiao Changtian picked up the black and white paper on the ground and slowly walked into the island. The Blackwater dragon was delighted to receive Xiao Changshan's praise. He recalled the time when he met Xiao Changtian and wanted to eat him up. Fortunately, Senior didn't argue with him at that time. Otherwise, he would be like that fellow from before, with no bones left. And today, Senior's praise for him, did it mean that Senior was increasingly acknowledging him? As he thought about this, the Blackwater dragon smiled. Then, he swam towards the bottom of the lake. Xiao Changtian came to the island with the black and white paper and found the Great Sun immortal. "Taoist Big Sun, please help me get those logs. I'm going to start making giant kites." On the island, after hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the Great Sun immortal nodded at him. At this moment, outside the 100,000 mountains, Wu Xia and the fat man's figures slowly appeared. After arriving at heavens beyond, he relied on Wu Xia's strength and the guidance of the fat man. The two of them also came all the way here. Then, the two of them slowly walked towards the 100,000 mountains. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 675, Wu Xia Flees, 1, Divine Realm, 100,000 Mountains. Wu Xia led the plump man slowly into the 100,000 mountains. When Wu Xia and the fat man entered the valley. In the lake, the Blackwater dragon slowly said to the ancestral dragon, "Senior ancestral dragon, someone else is here. However, there are two people this time. What should we do?" When the ancestral dragon heard the Blackwater dragon's words, he spat out a bubble. "Don't worry, Master is still making kites by the lake." 11". Moreover, there's a human among them this time. Don't act rashly and let them come over. Hearing the ancestral dragon's words, the Blackwater dragon nodded at him. At the same time, Wuxia and the fat man arrived at the lakeside without any hindrance. At this moment, Wuxia's eyes narrowed. He hurriedly stopped the fat man beside him from continuing to move forward. "Milord, what's wrong?" At this moment, the fat man said slowly to Wuxia. Looking at the lakeside, the fat man also saw Xiao Changtian. "Sir, it's that person. He's with the little girl." After he finished speaking, the fat man saw Wuxia clenching her fists tightly, and her eyes were red. Wuxia was now almost certain that Wu Xin and Wu Ming had met their doom. Moreover, he had died on this island. At this moment, Xiao Changtian was also wiping the sweat off his forehead. From the corner of his eyes, he caught sight of Wuxia and the plump man. Seeing them, Xiao Changtian also stood up and waved at them. The fat man saw Xiao Changtian waving at them and said to Wuxia, "Sir, what should we do now? That person is just a mortal. Why don't we kill him?" "Pa!" At this moment, Wuxia also gave the fat man a slap. "What are you talking about? Do you want me to die?" The fat man was suddenly slapped by Wuxia and he was a little dumbfounded. Covering her face with her hand, she said slowly to Wuxia, "Sir, what's wrong? Did I say something wrong?" Seeing Xiao Changtian, the fat man recalled what happened in the Skyfire mountain range. He wanted to borrow Wuxia's hand to help him take revenge. "Pa!" When Wuxia heard the fat man's words, she slapped him again. "What are you talking about? Didn't you see the sword in that person's hand? Let's leave quickly. Otherwise, we'll have to leave here." If it wasn't for the fact that the fat man was still useful, Wuxia would have ignored him. He felt a life-threatening aura from Xiao Changshan's sword. His instinct, which had been through many battles, was driving him away from this place. Otherwise, he might have ended up on this island forever like Wu Xin and Wu Ming. At this moment, the sword in Xiao Changshan's hand also emitted a bright light. Following that, Wuxia, who was on the other side of the lake, also spat out a mouthful of blood. Seeing the blood on his palm, Wuxia hurriedly said to the fat man beside him, "Quickly take me away." Hearing Wuxia and the fat man's words, General Yan's heart felt heavy. Since it was not those old men from the Righteous Path Alliance, Wu Xin and Wu Ming should not be discovered. Thinking of this, Yan Jiang continued to ask Wuxia, "Wuxia, did you see the treasures on Wu Xian and Wu Ming, the fragrant wood and the black and white flying paper?" Logically speaking, with these two treasures, the aura of the evil race on their bodies should not be discovered. If they were discovered, could there be something wrong with these two treasures? After hearing Yan Jiang's words, Wuxia hesitated for a moment. If you find any errors, ads pop-up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 676, Early Battle, 1, The Evil Race, a Palace. Wuxia looked at General Yan in front of her, her words hesitant. Seeing the hesitation on Wuxia's face, General Yan's eyelids twitched as he said slowly, "Wuxia, what's wrong?" "My lord, please don't be angry with me for saying it." At this moment, Wuxia spoke slowly to General Yan. Hearing Wuxia's words, Yan Jiang took a deep breath and said slowly to Wuxia, "Just say it. No matter what the result is, I can accept it." Seeing General Yan's serious expression, Wuxia slowly stood up and said to General Yan, "My lord, when I was on the other side of that person's island, I saw that person smashing your fragrant wood. It seemed like he was making something." "What?" Before Wuxia could finish, Yan Jiang interrupted her. "You said that the fragrant wood that I painstakingly obtained from the clan was destroyed by that person? You still want to use him to make things? It's also possible that it's a provocation from our evil race." At this moment, Wuxia slowly added to Yan Jiang, "Good. Very good. At this moment, General Yen said angrily as he looked at Wu Xia beside him. Looking at Wu Xia, he recalled what he had just said. Whoosh! Yen Jiang slowly exhaled. At the same time, he clenched his fists and continued to say to Wu Xia, "What about the nameless black and white paper? Did you see it?" Hearing Yen Jiang's words, Wu Xia also said to him directly. "I don't know what method that person used on the nameless black and white paper. It has already been broken down into pieces." While speaking, Wu Xia was also looking at General Yan's expression. After Wu Xia finished speaking, General Yan could not suppress the anger in his heart. He waved his hand around, and a pearl on the side was directly smashed into pieces. Preposterous, preposterous. The black and white flying paper and the fragrant wood were treasures that he had obtained from the clan after going through countless hardships. But now, they were all destroyed by Shao Changtian. Humans are really arrogant now. Yen Jiang looked at the direction of heavens beyond and said slowly. Destroying the fragrant wood and the black and white paper in front of Wu Xia. What was the meaning of this? Wasn't it just a provocation to him and a slap to his face? The more Yen Jiang thought about it, the angrier he became. He then said to Wu Xia slowly, "Wu Xia, you've worked hard this time. Stay here and rest. I'll bring some people over and chop that human up to vent the hatred in my heart." After he finished speaking, Yen Jiang also loudly said in the hall, "Where are the dark soldiers?" Whoosh! 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 As soon as General Yen finished speaking, rows of dark soldiers walked in neatly from the various entrances of the palace. Yes. When they saw General Yen, the dark soldiers shouted at him. When Yen Jiang saw these dark soldiers, he said to them, "Our race has been immersed for so many years. Those humans might think that they can do it again. He actually killed 2 of our great generals and even destroyed the most precious treasure of our evil race. As your leader, I have the obligation to bring you over and teach them a lesson." After Yen Jiang finished speaking, the dark soldiers also slowly said to him, "We will listen to General Yan's arrangements." At this moment, Wu Xia also came to General Yan's side and said to him slowly, "General Yan, you can't." Hearing Wu Xia dissuade him, the general of the farms waved his hand at him. "Wu Xia, I know what you want to say. Is it about the grand plan? Then you don't have to say. I'll attack the humans in advance. I believe the clan will understand." After General Yen finished speaking, Wu Xia shook her head at him. "Lord Flame General, that's not what I meant. Actually, that person has an extremely powerful longsword in his hand. When we were on the island, if I didn't leave quickly, I might have stayed there. Now that I think about it, Wu Xin and Wu Ming might have died under that longsword." Thinking of the sword in Shao Changshan's hand, Wu Xia still had some lingering fear. The aura that the longsword emitted made him feel a bone-deep danger. Hearing Wu Xia's words, Yen Jiang also struck at the surrounding pillars. A huge pit appeared on the pillar. "That human still wants to kill you. Preposterous, really preposterous." At this moment, General Yen said angrily. Wu Xia could be said to be the bravest warrior here. After he killed Wu Ming and Wu Xian, he was already in pain. He did not expect that person to want to kill Wu Xia. It was really intolerable. Following that, General Yen said slowly to Wu Xia, "Wu Xia, rest assured and recuperate here. I have the true armor given to me by the clan leader. I don't believe that human can do anything to me." With this thought in mind, General Yen also wanted to lead the dark soldiers towards the direction of heavens beyond. At the same time, in the human realm upon heavens. In an alternate dimension, the white-browed elder and the spiritual pearl elder sat in a circle. At this moment, Elder Ling Zhu, who was sitting in the middle of the crowd, slowly opened her eyes. This evil race has been getting more and more restless recently. As the old man finished speaking, Man Tian also said, "Yes, the aura at the border has been very intense recently. The evil race can't be going to start a holy war, right? Man Tian's words also made the others' hearts tighten. Following that, everyone also saw waves of black gas rising from the grand array in front of them. Seeing the black chi, the old man and the others looked at each other. Looks like the evil race is really going to start a war. After the old man finished speaking, Zheng Tian also said to him, Ling Zhu, let me go over. Let me destroy them all. Hearing Zhengshan's words, Ling Zhu shook her head. We still need to guard the center of the formation. It's not appropriate for us to attack. Moreover, the evil race's life force is extremely tenacious. It's difficult for us to kill them. Seeing Ling Zhu shake her head, Zheng Tian waved his sleeve and said slowly, Then what do you think we should do? Didn't you see someone who could purify evil energy in the Heavenly Fire Mountain range? Looks like it's time to pay him a visit. At this moment, the spiritual pearl elder slowly said to the others. Hearing the elder's words, the others looked at each other and did not object. You guys stay here. I'll go see him personally. As soon as the old man finished speaking, his body turned into a white fog and flew out. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 677, I'm going to kill him, don't stop me. 1. Divine Realm, outside the 100,000 mountains. General Yen led a group of dark soldiers and arrived at a mountain peak outside the 100,000 mountains. Lord Flame General, I feel that it is not appropriate for us to enter rashly like this. On the mountain peak, Wu Xia came to General Yen's side and said slowly to him. When Yan Jiang heard Wu Xia's words, he frowned. Wu Xia, we are already here, do you still want us to go back? Because she was worried about General Yan's safety, Wu Xia had followed him all the way here. Hearing Yan Jiang's words, Wu Xia also said to him slowly, Lord Yan Jiang, it is precisely because we have come here that we need to be careful. Darren, don't you think that it's too easy for me to come here? You have to know that Wu Xin and Wu Ming just died here not long ago. Hearing Wu Xia's words, Yan Jiang started to hesitate. Indeed, he had walked all the way here because of his anger. However, it seemed to have gone too smoothly. There were almost no obstacles. It was as if he had specially let them come over. Logically speaking, the few old men from the Righteous Tao Alliance should have noticed that so many of them had come to heavens beyond. Could this be a trap? At the thought of this, General Yen frowned. Then, he slowly said to the dark soldiers behind him, Bring me that human. When Wu Xia saw that the Flame General had calmed down, he heaved a sigh of relief. He was also afraid that General Yen would rush in and die on impulse. Very quickly, the fat man arrived in front of General Yen with the help of a few soldiers of the Darkness Army. Seeing the fat man, General Yen slowly said to him, Human, didn't you say that you knew that person? Tell me, what do you know? When the fat man heard General Yan's words, he looked at the familiar scene around him. He also knew who General Yen was asking about. Then, the fat man slowly said to General Yen, Sir, I met that person in the Heavenly Fire Mountain range. At that time, at this moment, the fat man told Yan Jiang everything that he had encountered in the Sky Fire Mountain range. When Wu Xia heard the fat man's words, she slowly said to him, Are you saying that there is no aura on that person's body, like a mortal? The fat man nodded at Wu Xia. Yes, sir, it's true. After the fat man finished speaking, he saw Wu Xia pull out a long sword from his waist. Is that really the case? Looking at the sword in Wu Xia's hand, the fat man felt like crying. It's true, my lord. It can't be any more true. Oh, is it? At this moment, Wu Xia also placed her sword on the fat man's neck. Really? Try saying that again. It's true. At this moment, the fat man felt a chill down his lower body. He squeezed his legs together and his pants became wet. Lord, I really didn't lie to you. He followed the fat man into the 100,000 mountains. Wu Xia also saw Xiao Changtian on the other side of the island. He slowly said to General Yan beside him, "Lord General Yan, look, it's that." Before Wu Xia could finish her words, she saw General Yan's eyes were red. Ash stared at the other side of the island. Xiao Changtian was holding a giant kite in his hand, chatting and laughing with Guo Yurong. At the same time, he kept dismantling the giant kite. "Damn it, this person actually destroyed my treasure like this. I'm going to kill him, no one can stop me." As he spoke, General Yan was also prepared to attack Xiao Changtian. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Then, he slowly came to the lakeside. After they got ashore, they saw that there was still no movement on the lake. The fat man heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Perhaps he had been too paranoid just now. Then, the fat man slowly walked toward the island. At this time, Xiao Changtian and Guo Yurong also noticed the fat man on the island. Changshan's pupils shrank when he saw the fat man. Why did he remember that this fat man wasn't in the heavenly fire mountain range? In the end, he was burned by the fire spat by that demon beast. Could it be that this fatty was also a cultivator? With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian waved his hand at the fat man. Seeing Xiao Changtian waving at him, the fat man became nervous. Could it be that this person already knew the purpose of coming here? With this thought in mind, the fat man walked up to Xiao Changtian. "What are you doing here?" Seeing the fat man, Changtian said to him slowly. Guo Yurong also recognized the fat man. Looking at the fat man, she also felt the aura on his body that she hated. "What are you doing here?" Could it be that he was going to do something bad? Then, she walked to the fat man's side and observed him. The fat man was also staring at Guo Yurong. He was also very nervous. He stammered, "Seniors, I'm here to thank you." "Thank you?" Xiao Changtian didn't know what to say. Gratitude? He didn't seem to have helped Fatty in any way. Could it be Miss Guo? Thinking so, Xiao Changtian also looked at Guo Yurong. At this moment, the fat man realized that he was speaking incoherently. Then, he said to Xiao Changtian and Guo Yurong, "Yes, I came to thank the two of you for being able to escape from danger in the Heavenly Fire Mountain Range. It's also thanks to the help of the two of you." After he finished speaking, the fat man felt nervous. The reason why he was able to survive the Scarlet Blood Evil Dragon was all thanks to the evil race. If these two people were really like what the Lord said, if his strength was monstrous, then he should have seen through his lies in an instant. Then, the fat man saw Xiao Changtian walking towards him. Was this person going to attack him? With this thought in mind, the fat man saw Xiao Changtian pat him on the shoulder. "There are bugs." Xiao Changtian pointed at the golden mosquito planted by General Yan on the fat man's shoulder and said slowly. It was over. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the fat man thought that Xiao Changtian had discovered his identity. At this time, Guo Yurong also saw the golden mosquito on the fat man's shoulder and said slowly, "This bug, if you want to thank someone, you should thank Miss Guo. I don't have the ability to save you. I'm not coming over. Do you want to come to the island and sit for a while?" At this moment, Xiao Changtian said to the fat man. The fat man was also a little stunned when he heard Xiao Changshan's words. Was this person inviting him to rest here? Didn't discover his identity? Xiao Changtian interrupted Guo Yurong, who was observing. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Guo Yurong frowned. He slowly said to the fat man, "That won't do. The aura on this fatty makes me feel uncomfortable. Do you want to stay here? Are you still going back?" At this moment, Guo Yurong gave the fat man a threatening smile. Hearing Guo Yurong's words, the fat man immediately said to Xiao Changtian, "No need. I'll leave now. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 679, For Demonic Beasts, 1, Divine Realm, Outside the 100,000 Mountains. A figure slowly emerged from the void. It was the old man who came all the way here from the Righteous Path Alliance. When he arrived at the outskirts of the 100,000 Mountains, the old man also saw the fog on the top of the mountain. His eyes paused for a moment before he flew into the 100,000 Mountains. Whoosh! The spiritual Pearl Elder's figure streaked across the valley and arrived at the back of the mountain. Roar! As soon as the Spirit Pearl Elder landed in the back mountain, he heard a furious roar. Immediately after, a huge black palm attacked him. Seeing the bare paw coming at him, the Spirit Pearl Elder smiled. Then, he swung his palm and collided with the bare paw. Bang! The two palms collided, and a sound was emitted in the air. Then, the spiritual Pearl Elder slowly said to the black bear, I have no intention of becoming your enemy. One just want to pay a visit to the owner of this island. As soon as he finished speaking, the Spirit Pearl Elder pointed at the black bear, and a ring of light descended on his body. Roar! 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 The black bear was restrained by the spiritual Pearl Elder's halo, and it let out a series of angry roars. Then, the old man smiled at the black bear and flew forward. Soon, the old man found Xiao Changtian and Gui Yurong by the lake. Seeing the two of them, the spiritual Pearl Elder also flew towards them. The old man smiled at them as he landed in front of them. At this moment, Xiao Changtian had just sent the fat man away. When he returned to the lakeside and saw the old man from the spiritual Pearl sect, he was also a little surprised. Why was there another person on the island? With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian slowly said to the old man, and you are? The old man smiled at Xiao Changtian. I'm from the Righteous Path Alliance, I have something to ask you. At this moment, the spiritual Pearl Elder spoke to Xiao Changtian. Then, he waved his hand and took a step to the side, revealing a few demon beasts behind him. They have all suffered a certain amount of hardship. I wonder if you can save them. Xiao Changtian looked behind the old man when he heard that the old man didn't waste any words. At this moment, behind the old man, there were 4. The small animal stood up slowly. Seeing these small animals, Xiao Changtian also looked at the old man suspiciously. This old man, wouldn't he use these small animals for experiments? On the far left was a wild bird, but that was all. Because it was really hard to say whether it counted or not. It looked like a golden pheasant, especially its head and neck. However, upon closer inspection, he felt that this thing didn't look like it. A human helper who had made outstanding contributions but was seriously injured and corroded by evil energy. He brought them here to see Xiao Changshan's ability and attitude. If Xiao Changtian was really on the side of the human race and had the ability to heal evil energy, then he would be able to do so. Then, he should do his best to save these demon beasts. However, if he turned a deaf ear to it, it meant that Xiao Changtian wasn't 100% on the side of the human race. Xiao Changtian's stance and attitude towards the war with the evil race was extremely important to the Spirit Pearl Elder. Hearing the doubts of these demonic beasts, the old man from the spiritual Pearl sect said to them, Everyone, I've already brought you here. Can't you wait here? After being haunted by evil Qi for so many years, Lingzhu couldn't bear to watch anymore, so she thought of bringing you guys here. Hearing Lingzhu's words, the demon beast on the ground finally shut its mouth. He had vented his anger just now because he felt despair after having hope. They also knew about the Spirit Pearl Elder's contributions to the human realm upon heavens over the years. Therefore, after hearing the old man's words, they all shut their mouths and waited for Xiao Changshan's return. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 680:1 Really didn't lie to you, Divine Realm, 100,000 Mountains. At this moment, in a cave in the Valley of the 100,000 Mountains, Yan Jiang and Wu Xia were sitting in the cave with a group of dark soldiers. Yan Jiang sat on a rock in the cave, his face was also somewhat ashen. They had been observing the island from the outside, but a powerful aura suddenly came to the island. Yan Jiang also immediately hid in a cave in the valley, because that aura made him feel a bone-deep danger. If he did not leave quickly, he and the dark soldiers might have to stay here. However, he didn't dare to move too much because it would increase the risk of being discovered. At this moment, in the cave, Wu Xia said slowly to General Yan, "My lord, I think that human might have been discovered. I think it's time for us to find a way to escape unscathed." Wu Xia naturally sensed the powerful aura that had suddenly appeared on the island. That feeling was the same as when he faced those old men from the Righteous Path Alliance. He had yet to recover from his injuries and was no match for them. When Yan Jiang heard Wu Xia's words, his face turned ashen. He patted the rock below his butt, and the entire rock exploded in midair. Bang! The rock was shattered by him, and Yan Jiang sat on the ground. Seeing General Yan fall to the ground, a few dark soldiers hurriedly walked forward. "Lord Yan Jiang, are you all right?" At this moment, the dark soldier also asked General Yan with concern. General Yan stood up from the ground in a sorry state and waved his hand at the dark soldiers. Then, the dark soldiers retreated. After arriving at the cave, he pondered deeply. He recalled that ever since he learned about the place where humans purified evil energy, he had sent Wuxin and Wuming to heavens beyond. However, not only did Wuxin and Wuming not get any information, but they also did not find out anything. They were directly silenced. There was also Wu Xia who came to heavens beyond and was directly injured. All sorts of signs had already indicated that the human race might have long hidden something unknown from the evil race. Perhaps the ability to purify evil energy that the human mentioned was the human's trump card. He had come here because he was so angry that he had lost his mind and acted on impulse. After that human went to the island, he could no longer sense the aura of the golden mosquitoes. Presumably, that human was also regarded as a traitor by them. He should be dealt with. With this thought in mind, General Yan said slowly to Wu Xia, "Wu Xia, you're right. It's time for us to think of our own way out. Otherwise, we might really have to stay here today. That would be a great loss for our clan. It will also be an extremely unfavorable influence on our future attacks here." Wu Xia saw that Flame General had regained his calm and wise appearance and she heaved a sigh of relief. Following which, he nodded at General Yan and slowly said, "Lord Yan Jiang, I think you can let me attract their attention first, then you can take everyone and leave this place. I'll meet you guys later." Hearing Wu Xia's words, Yan Jiang immediately stopped him. "No, Wu Xia, you are injured and I cannot let you take the risk." Then, he patted Wu Xia's chest and said slowly, "I'll go attract them." "My lord, you can't. You are our commander. We have no way to explain to the higher-ups." At this moment, Wu Xia spoke slowly to General Yan. Hearing Wu Xia's words, General Yan did not know why, but he felt that something was off. So this guy was worried that the higher-ups would blame him. Thinking of this, Yan Jiang wanted to say something. He heard a noise from the dark soldiers outside. "Sir, that human has returned." Hearing the dark soldier's words, Yan Jiang was also stunned for a moment, and then he looked at Wu Xia. They saw the disbelief in each other's eyes. According to their speculations, that human should not be able to return. Then, the two of them seemed to have thought of something and said to the dark soldier, "Let's get in." Following that, under the lead of the dark soldiers, the fat man was also slowly brought before Wu Xia and Yan Jiang. Seeing the fat man in front of him, General Yan took the lead and said to him, "You're back. Did you find out anything?" The fat man looked at Yan Jiang and Wu Xia above him and said solemnly to them, "That person is just an ordinary person." Following that, the fat man told Yan Jiang and Wu Xia everything that had happened on the island. As he spoke, the fat man had a smile on his face. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw General Yan suddenly shoot out from his seat. Arriving in front of the fat man, General Yan also lifted his clothes and slowly said to him, "Are you serious? Don't tell me you're trying to trick me into going over to die." Seeing Yan Jiang's vicious expression, the fat man was also very frightened in his heart. No, sir, my lord, please be wise. What I said is true." At this moment, the fat man also felt like crying. Then, he seemed to have thought of something and slowly said to General Yan, "Didn't Milord plant a bug in my body? Milord can investigate." Hearing the fat man's self-saving words, General Yan threw him onto the ground. "Then let me see if what you said is true. If you dare to lie to me, you know the consequences." According to his previous deduction, how could this human come back alive? After all, did Wuxin and Wuming commit suicide? In General Yan's eyes, the fat man was just struggling on his deathbed. As soon as he finished speaking, General Yan's hand emitted a ray of light at the fat man. Then, the fat man felt like vomiting. A golden bug flew out of his mouth. The golden bug flew to General Yan's palm and sensed the information transmitted from it. Yan Jiang also frowned slightly. Wu Xia saw his frown. She also came to his side and slowly said to him, "Milord, what's wrong? It seems like that person is really an ordinary person." At this moment, Yan Jiang said to Wu Xia in shock. He had sent the golden bug into the fat man's body to monitor him. The fat man might have deceived him, but the golden bug definitely wouldn't. Then, General Yan thought of something and said to Wu Xia slowly, "Wu Xia, I understand now. That person only has a powerful magic tool. I'll go over and kill it now. I'll snatch his Dharma artifact and increase the combat strength of our evil race. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 681, Really Hypocritical, 1, Divine Realm, Within the 100,000 Mountains. After Yan Jiang spoke to Wu Xia, he was about to walk out. According to what Wu Xia had told him, that person had a powerful longsword in his hand. It was probably because of that long sword that Wuxin and Wuming had fallen in his hands. However, he was different. He had the evil weapon given by his lord in his hands. It could block the attacks of all immortal artifacts. Moreover, that person was able to purify evil energy, which was very likely related to that long sword. He wanted to kill the old man before the sword fell into the hands of the old man from the righteous path. Snatching it into his own hands could be said to be killing two birds with one stone. Not only did they obtain the most powerful celestial artifact of the human race, but they also greatly increased the strength of the evil race. With this thought in mind, General Yan walked out of the cave and headed towards the island. Wu Xia saw Flame General leave and felt that something was not right. However, he couldn't tell where exactly it was. He could only let General Yan go out. Then, the dark soldier in the cave waved his hand. The dark soldiers brought the fat man and followed General Yan out. Yan Jiang came to the lakeside and leaped high into the air. Then, he released the evil aura from his body. A monstrous evil aura exploded in the air. Evil breaking 10,000 void. Flame General was wearing battle armor and his entire body was covered in flames. Then, the flames on his body swayed. A huge palm of evil flames formed in the air and attacked the island. General Yan was confident that if he struck first, he could definitely sink the entire island. At that time, he would slowly search for that sword. The corner of General Yan's mouth curled into a proud smile when he saw the huge flaming palm. He had never felt so good ever since he came to heavens beyond. On the island, the old man from the spiritual pearl sat by the lake, waiting for Xiao Changtian to return. The fire in the sky will appear in that moment, and it will also be a monstrous evil. So the evil race had all come here. Beside the old man, the 4 demonic beasts felt the evil aura in the air. They were also furious. These evil auras could be said to be their greatest enemies in their lives. At this moment, the spiritual pearl elder slowly said to the demonic beast beside him, "You guys wait here." Then, he pointed at the flaming palm in the air. Whoosh! The moment the spirit pearl elder attacked, the entire space froze. Then, spatial cracks appeared in the space and swallowed the entire flaming palm. In midair, Yan Jiang's pupils constricted when he saw his flaming palm being absorbed. Then, he saw the figure of the old man from the spiritual pearl sect below. Was this the old man from the Righteous Alliance? And the strongest one? That's right, Ling Zhu was indeed the strongest person in the entire Righteous Tao Alliance, and also the #1 person in the human realm upon heavens. Yan Jiang didn't expect that there would be an old man on this island. Without any hesitation, he turned around and flew out of the 100,000 mountains. With his strength, staying here was simply sending his head away. Seeing that Yan Jiang wanted to leave, the old man shook his head. Then, he raised his hand and clenched his fist in the direction where General Yan had left. Then, Yan Jiang, who was in midair, felt the world around him spin. In a short while, he arrived in front of the spiritual pearl elder. Looking at General Yan in front of him, the old man from Ling Zhu said slowly, "The evil race is getting more and more arrogant." Arriving in front of the spiritual pearl elder, General Yan knew that he would not be able to escape today. Looking at the spiritual pearl elder, Yan Jiang laughed out loud and said, "Ling Zhu, I didn't expect you to set this up. I lost this time. Use whatever methods you have. You humans will eventually be conquered and enslaved by the evil race." Hearing Yan Jiang's words, the old man from Ling Zhu slowly said to him, "I don't want to talk about this. Tell me, what is your purpose here?" The old man was also very interested in Yan Jiang coming to such a lower realm. "What are you doing here? Don't you understand? You set up this trap yourself, and you still have the cheek to ask me? Humans are really hypocritical. Come, destroy me." Just like the old man, General Yan was also very interested in methods that could purify evil energy. He didn't want to die without knowing why. At this moment, he understood why the fat man dared to let him investigate the golden bugs. With the spiritual pearl's abilities, it was not impossible to avoid the golden insect's detection. He could only say that he had been careless. The old man shook his head after hearing Yan Jiang's words. "To deal with you, I still need to set up a trap. You really think too highly of yourself. Cut the crap. What are you doing here? Otherwise, don't blame me for searching your soul." At this moment, the old Ling Zhu threatened General Yan. Hearing the old man's words, Yan Jiang seemed to be a little disdainful. He said to him, "As you wish." This old man was still pretending. He wanted to see what he was up to. At this moment, the spiritual pearl elder also arrived in front of General Yan. He pressed down on General Yan's head and injected a stream of true essence into his head. He could sense that the old man was really going to search his soul. Yan Jiang was also a little stunned. The important memories of the evil race had been sealed in everyone's minds. It was impossible for this spiritual pearl not to know that it would not have any effect on him if he searched his soul. Chapter 682, Looking Down on Others, Dying to be an Evil Race, 1, Divine Realm, 100,000 Mountains. On the island, the spiritual pearl elder heard Xiao Changshan's words and said slowly, "Thank you, Senior." If he had any misgivings about Xiao Changtian, then he would have been able to do it. But now, it could be said that it was completely unannounced, just based on what General Yan saw in his mind. Xiao Changtian was enough for him to call him senior. Xiao Changtian smiled at the spiritual pearl elder. Don't be happy too early. I just made these medicines. We'll have to see how effective it is. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Changtian took the medicine bottle in his hand and slowly walked in front of the 4 demonic beasts. He sprinkled the medicinal powder on their bodies one by one, and waves of black qi rose from the 4 demon beasts' bodies one by one. The 4 beasts didn't have any hope for Xiao Changtian. After the medicinal powder entered his body, he could feel the changes in his body. They looked at each other in shock. The evil aura on their bodies seemed to be slowly dissipating. The evil aura that had troubled them for many years and had never been resolved seemed to be leaving them. The 4 demon beasts saw joy and disbelief in each other's eyes. Then, he looked at Xiao Changtian in front of him, and his expression changed drastically. They had accepted Xiao Changshan's medicinal powder just now, perhaps because of the old man with the spiritual pearls. Now, they no longer looked at Xiao Changtian with contempt. What replaced it was deep respect. This person was the blessing of the human race. Could it be that the war with the evil race was finally about to usher in a turning point? With this thought in mind, the 4 demonic beasts knelt down in front of Xiao Changtian. This was the only way to express their apology to Xiao Changtian and their gratitude to him for saving their lives. Xiao Changtian looked at the 4 beasts and said, "Don't move around. Otherwise, the effects of the medicine might not be good." At this moment, Xiao Changtian said to the 4 beasts. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the 4 demonic beasts were touched and stopped what they were doing. This senior clearly did not take the previous matter to heart and was still taking such care of them. Previously, the 4 of them had really looked down on others. Thinking of this, Pheasant and the others could not help but shed tears. They had lived for many years, and it had been a long time since they had shed tears. He did not expect that it was actually on an island in the lower realm. Xiao Changtian looked at the 4 demonic beasts and placed his hand on his chin. Could it be that the medicinal powder he had just concocted was too sour and spicy, causing them to shed tears? With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian picked up the bottle in his hand and sniffed it. There was no problem. Could it be that there was sand in his eyes? However, there was no sandstorm today. Xiao Changtian couldn't think of a reason for this, so he turned to the old man and said, "Old man, you stay here and watch them. If anything happens, just let me know. I'll go and improve this medicine. Perhaps the effect will be better." Xiao Changtian wanted to go back and find out the reason why the poultry was crying. Otherwise, if the old man's poultry's original illness was not cured, it would be too late. If he made other illnesses out of it, he would have let him down. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the 4 demonic beasts were touched. Better effect? From Senior's words, he was dissatisfied with the slow speed at which this medicinal powder was expelling the evil energy from their bodies. Indeed, when the evil aura left their bodies, they could not help but feel a pain because of the evil aura that had plagued them for many years. Senior hastened the speed of expelling the evil energy, obviously not wanting to let him suffer so much pain. Senior is really a good person. Beside the old man, Yan Jiang saw Xiao Changtian and the 4 beasts on the ground. As an evil race general who had participated in the Holy War before, he naturally knew what status those 4 demonic beasts had in the human race. They had once brought a lot of trouble to the evil race. It could even be said that the reason why the evil race had not taken down the human realm upon heavens for so long was that they had been fighting for the human realm upon heavens for so long. To a large extent, it was also related to these demon beasts. He did not expect to see them here today. However, he remembered that in the last Holy War, they were all injured by the powerful beings of the evil race. Why was the evil aura on their bodies disappearing bit by bit? Looking at Xiao Changtian in front of them, these 4 demonic beasts were the seniors of the human race. However, this human did not show any respect to them. On the contrary, the 4 demonic beasts looked at the young man with a trace of respect. Could it be that General Yen had also thought of something at this moment? He looked at the old man beside him who had just searched his soul. There was also the way the young people addressed Ling Zhu after they appeared. All of this seemed to indicate that the human race seemed to have a higher leader than Ling Zhu and the others. When he thought of this, Yan Jiang's heart also suffered a huge blow. Before this, the evil races had unanimously believed that the highest leader of the human race was the Righteous Path Alliance they had formed. He did not expect that there would be a leader above the Spiritual Pearl Elder, who was the highest leader of the Righteous Path Alliance. And this person seemed to have the means to purify the evil energy of their evil race. Incredible, incredible. Thinking of Wuxin and Wuming, General Yen seemed to have explained everything. If Wuxin and Wuming died in the hands of a human, it would make a lot of sense. Could it be that Wu Xia had vomited blood upon seeing this person's sword? Obviously, this person's realm had reached the point where he could hit a bull from afar. As he thought about this, General Yen also stared at Xiao Changtian. He didn't leave for even a second, as if he wanted to carve Xiao Changshan's figure into his mind. She had delicate features and a graceful bearing. She was dressed in green and looked extraordinary. Was this the image of those human cultivators? General Yen recited Xiao Changshan's image in his mind and looked around. Although he knew that there was little hope for him to leave this place today. However, it was no longer important whether he left or not. The most important thing was to spread the news that a young and powerful leader had appeared in the human race. After all, this concerned the life and death of the entire evil race. With this thought in mind, General Yen became more and more determined in his thoughts. He also continuously cheered himself up in his heart. General Yen, you have the responsibility and mission to spread this news. The evil race is the end of your life. Born in the evil race, dead for the evil race. After giving himself some chicken soup in his heart, Yan Jiang also tried his best to break free from the restraints that the Spiritual Pearl Elder had placed on him. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. The old man nodded at Xiao Changtian after hearing his words. At the same time, her face was a little red. She was obviously a little embarrassed. Speaking of which, after so many years, the Righteous Path Alliance had not developed a way to deal with evil qi. They should indeed feel ashamed. With this thought in mind, the spiritual elder also said to Xiao Changtian, "Senior, this old man is indeed guilty. I didn't find a good way to deal with it." Hearing the old man's words and looking at the old man's expression, Xiao Changtian was sure that this old man wasn't lying to him. Then, Xiao Changtian said to the Spiritual Pearl Elder, "Since you insist on asking me, I can only tell you this." As he spoke, Xiao Changtian also found a pointer from somewhere. Xiao Changtian handed the pointer to the old man and said slowly, "Fighting won't yield a result. It's better to give people more opportunities. In the end, there might be unexpected gains." After saying that, Xiao Changtian also went to his room. The Spiritual Pearl Elder looked at the direction Xiao Changtian left and then looked at the pointer in his hand. He could feel a holy aura from this pointer. And this aura seemed to be the aura that purified evil energy. However, from what Senior had just said, it seemed that he wanted to give this evil race a chance and not destroy him. Could it be that Senior's intention was to let this heretic go back? It would become a method left behind by the human race in the evil race. It would be of great use when the Holy War started in the future. With this thought in mind, the Spiritual Pearl Elder also looked at the direction Xiao Changtian had left. Senior is really far-sighted. This old man is really ashamed of such a scheme. Then, the Spiritual Pearl Elder walked up to Yan Jiang. "Lingzhu, what do you want? If you want to kill me, kill me. I won't yield." Yan Jiang had been trying to break free from the evil energy since just now. However, during this process, he could also feel the suppression of the old man with the spiritual pearl. Clearly, General Yen had also thrown away his broken jar and laid his cards on the table with the old man from the spiritual pearl sect. The old man shook his head when he heard Yen Jiang's words. Since you want to leave, I'll let you leave. As he spoke, the old man also pointed at General Yen's forehead. Then, Yen Jiang felt that all the seals on him had been lifted. Sensing the changes in his body, Yen Jiang also felt that it was unreal. This spiritual pearl let him off just like that. With this thought in mind, Yen Jiang slowly said to the old man, "Spiritual Pearl Elder, although I don't know what tricks you have up your sleeve, you will regret it." Before General Yen could finish his sentence, he saw the old man holding a large amount of true essence in his hand. His palm was placed on his forehead. Then, Yen Jiang felt that he had lost control of his body. It doesn't matter if you don't know. I'll tell you now. The old man from the spiritual pearl sect looked at General Yen in front of him and slowly said. This old man has received senior's enlightenment today and has already decided to let you play a greater role. Stop resisting. Yen Jiang seemed to have realized something after hearing the old man's words. Then, he quickly mobilized the evil qi in his body to resist the old man with the spiritual pearl. This spiritual bead wanted to change his memories. It's useless. Seeing Yen Jiang's fierce opening, the old man also took the pointer given by Shao Changtian. He whipped Yen Jiang. Pa! With a crisp sound in the air, the evil qi that General Yen had just mobilized was purified. Ling Zhu, you, seeing the pointer in the spiritual pearl elder's hand, a trace of fear appeared in General Yen's eyes. Following that, in General Yen's terrified eyes, the memories in his mind kept changing. In the end, the spiritual pearl elder also pushed Yen Jiang into the air. Then, he muttered something and Yen Jiang slowly opened his eyes. When Yen Jiang saw the old man, he flew out of the 100,000 mountains without looking back. If you find any errors, ads pop-up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 684, Giving Ling Zhu a Show of Strength, 1, Divine Realm, 100,000 Mountains. In the air, Yen Jiang looked at the island behind him. He heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Fortunately, he ran fast. He did not expect that the person on that island was actually that old man, Ling Zhu. After the old man changed his memory, Yen Jiang only remembered that he was going to the island. As for what happened on the island, he did not remember anything. With this thought in his heart, Yen Jiang quickly came to Wu Xia and the others. Wu Xia looked at General Yen and said to him, "Sir, how is it? Did you find anything?" Wu Xia's words were filled with worry. It had been a long time since Yen Jiang had left for the island. He could not find out the situation on the island. If General Yen did not return, he planned to go over and check it out personally. Seeing that Yen Jiang was safe and sound, Wu Xia heaved a sigh of relief. Arriving at Wu Xia's side, General Yen said to the dark soldier, "Where's that human? Bring him here." When the dark soldiers heard General Yan's words, they did not dare to be negligent. He immediately pulled the fat man in front of General Yen. Seeing the fat man, General Yen also lifted him up from the ground. Sir, what's wrong?" Seeing the aggressive General Yen, the fat man was also very afraid. Yen Jiang laughed coldly when he heard the fat man's words. He slowly said to the fat man, "Human, this time, I will not give you any chance to quibble." As he spoke, a flame lit up in General Yan's hand. Then, the flame spread from General Yan's palm to the fat man's entire body. Ah! Amidst a series of miserable cries, the fat man was also burned to ashes by Yen Jiang. After dealing with the fat man, General Yen wiped his palms. Clearly, the anger in his heart had not dissipated. At this moment, Wu Xia also asked General Yan in confusion, "Sir, what's wrong with this human?" "I'll tell you when we get back. There's no time to lose. Take the dark soldiers and leave this place with me quickly. If that old man Lingzhu finds us, we might not be able to leave." At this moment, General Yan's words revealed a trace of anxiety. When Wu Xia heard Yan Jiang's words, she was shocked. Spirit Pearl Elder, that old man from the Righteous Tao Alliance? At the thought of this, Wu Xia realized the seriousness of the matter and left with the dark soldiers and General Yan. On the island, the old man from the Spiritual Pearl sect looked at the direction where Yan Jiang and the others had left. A wise light flashed across his eyes. After arriving at the island, the old man felt that his thoughts had broadened a lot. And all of this was thanks to Senior's guidance. At the same time, Xiao Changtian came to the lakeside with the newly concocted medicinal powder. "Old man, this is my new concoction. Let's try again." While speaking, Xiao Changtian also looked in the direction of the 4 demonic beasts. At this moment, the 4 demon beasts seemed to have returned to normal. When the Spiritual Pearl Elder heard Xiao Changshan's words, he also looked at the 4 demonic beasts. They had all been cured by Senior. After Xiao Changtian left, the 4 beasts also used their own strength to recover quickly with the help of Xiao Changshan's medicinal powder. After recovering, they also received a voice transmission from the ancestral dragon and the others. He knew that Xiao Changtian was cultivating his heart in the mortal world and didn't like to see their true forms. Therefore, they all looked at Xiao Changtian like normal poultry. Seeing that the 4 demonic beasts had returned to normal, Xiao Changtian said to the Spiritual Pearl Elder, "Since they've all recovered, you can take this for yourself. Perhaps it will be useful in the future." Seeing the powder in Xiao Changshan's hand, the Spiritual Pearl Elder was touched. Knowing that the Righteous Path Alliance did not have any methods to deal with the evil energy, Senior gave him all kinds of treasures. After returning, he would also discuss with the others to see how to invite Senior to be the alliance leader. Then, Xiao Changtian exchanged a few words with the old man from Lingzhu. The old man led the 4 demonic beasts towards the Righteous Tao Alliance. After all, as one of the active guardians of the array, the old man could not leave the alternate dimension for too long. In a dark palace of the evil race, General Yan sat on top of the palace and looked at the dark soldiers below. "Wu Xia, how are our losses on this trip to heavens beyond?" When Wu Xia heard Yan Jiang's words, she also walked out from the group of dark soldiers. He slowly said to General Yan, "Besides Wu Xin and Nameless, we also lost a few dark soldiers. But overall, there are still no major losses." "Very good." Hearing Wu Xia's words, General Yan slowly said. Then, he stood up from his seat. "I've thought a lot about this trip to heavens beyond. Didn't that human tell you about a little girl? I thought about it and felt that he should be the same as that human. He should be a spy that the Spiritual Pearl nurtured to infiltrate our evil race." Speaking up to this point, General Yan was also a little cold. "Therefore, I want you to go and take care of that little girl. It can also be considered as a show of strength for Lingzhu." Hearing Yan Jiang's words, Wu Xia nodded at him. Then, General Yan waved his hand towards the outside of the palace, and a few figures dressed in black walked in. The black shadow held a jade box in his hand and handed it to Wu Xia. "Wu Xia, this is the soul-chasing needle I got from the clan. I hope it will be useful to you." When Wu Xia heard Yan Jiang's words, she felt a surge of excitement in her heart. Then, he slowly took the jade box from the black shadow. The soul-chasing needle was very famous in the evil race and beyond Avalon. This was because this soul-chasing needle had once killed a creation immortal and severely injured a ruler. Even the heavens will of the realm upon heavens was very wary of this soul-chasing needle. With this soul pursuit needle, Wu Xia felt that her operation this time should be stable. Following the soul-chasing needle, Wu Xia immediately said to General Yan, "Don't worry, my lord. I will definitely complete the mission and avenge Wu Xin and Wu Ming. Seeing Wu Xie's confident look, General Yan waved his hand at him. Following that, Wu Xie brought the soul-catching needle and rushed to the human realm upon heavens once again. At the same time, in the Righteous Path Alliance, the white-browed elder and the others were also very shocked, and they saw the 4 demon beasts recover. Over the years, they had tried many ways to save them. However, none of them had any effect. They did not expect Ling Zhu to bring them out for a trip and recover so quickly. The white-browed elder looked at the spiritual pearl elder and slowly said, "Ling Zhu, what happened on your trip? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 685, Divine Beast Shakes, 1, Divine Realm, 100,000 Mountains. Senior, the people from the Li family are here. They said that you haven't finished taking some mines last time and want you to go over. In Xiao Changshan's room, the Great Sun Immortal said to Xiao Changtian slowly. "Oh, Taoist Big Sun, if you hadn't mentioned it, I would have forgotten about it. Last time, Li Xiaofeng asked me to go to their ancestral land to find the black ice crystal." Xiao Changtian also thought of something when he heard the words of the Great Sun Immortal. The last time he went to the Li family's dinner, the Li family's head gave him a pile of materials. He even said that he would go to their ancestral land to get the black ice crystals next time. After a period of time, he had almost forgotten about this matter. At this moment, Gui Yurong walked out from the side. "Senior, why don't you let me go in your place? I happen to have some things to do over there." Gui Yurong had been on the island for some time, but she had not returned to the Montenegro Forbidden District to check. He wondered how the Montenegro Forbidden Zone had changed after the Bat Demon was defeated. Xiao Changtian nodded at Gui Yurong. "In that case, you'll have to trouble Miss Gua." Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Gui Yurong also walked out of the 100,000 Mountains. At the same time, on the outskirts of the 100,000 Mountains, Li Feng had already prepared a carriage and was waiting for Xiao Changshan's arrival. Seeing Gui Yurong's figure, he walked up to her and said slowly, "Miss Gua, where is Senior?" "Senior has something on, so he won't go with you." "I'll go with you." Gui Yurong looked at Li Feng and said slowly to him. Gui Yurong did not stand on ceremony. She got into Li Feng's carriage and headed towards the barbaric heaven. After Li Feng heard Gui Yurong's words, he looked in the direction of the 100,000 Mountains. He hesitated for a moment before bringing Gui Yurong to the Li family's house. At the same time, in a void in the heavenly fire mountain range, Wu Xie's figure slowly appeared in the void, and her spiritual sense spread out in all directions. After a while, Wu Xie's lips curled into a smile. With a flash, he stepped into the void. Soon, Wu Xie arrived at the void above Li Feng's carriage and slowly took out the soul pursuit needle. Then, he fired it in the direction of the carriage. Whoosh! The soul-chasing needle flew out and attacked the carriage. At the same time, on the island, Li Feng hurriedly walked into the 100,000 Mountains. Arriving at the lakeside, Li Feng shouted to the other side of the island, "Senior, something bad has happened to Miss Gua." Xiao Changtian was standing by the lake in a daze. He looked at Li Feng and felt a little confused. Why was little Fengzi still here? Then, Xiao Changtian also steered the boat and slowly walked to the opposite side. "What's wrong?" Xiao Changtian said slowly to Li Feng as they arrived at the lakeside. "Senior, something bad has happened to Miss Gua. We were attacked on the way back." At this moment, Li Feng said to Xiao Changtian anxiously, "Hurry up and come over to take a look." Hearing Li Feng's words, Xiao Changtian was also nervous. He came to Li Feng's side. He also saw Gui Yurong, who was bleeding on top of the carriage. Seeing this scene, Xiao Changtian didn't say anything and went to stop Gui Yurong's bleeding. After helping to stop the bleeding, Xiao Changtian carried Gui Yurong on his back and walked to the other side of the island. Senior, not good. On Xiao Changshan's back, Gui Yurong said weakly to Xiao Changtian. Xiao Changtian heard Gui Yurong's words and said to her, Miss Gui, you're relatively weak. Don't speak yet. I'll check on you first. The mouth said so, and Xiao Changtian also took Gui Yurong to his room. After checking Gui Yurong's injuries, Xiao Changtian finally stabilized them. After he was done, Xiao Changtian slowly said to Li Feng, Little Feng, what happened? Tell me. Hearing Xiao Changshan's angry words, Li Feng told Xiao Changtian everything they had encountered on the way. After hearing Li Feng's words, Xiao Changshan's face darkened. At this moment, Li Feng also took out a piece of paper from his pocket. He handed it to Xiao Changtian and said slowly, Senior, this is what that person left behind. Xiao Changtian took the note from Li Feng's hand, and his expression changed. There were a few big words written on it, Soul Sealer, Wu Xia. Xiao Changtian kept the note into his space ring and said angrily, Xiao Fengzi, help me take care of Miss Gui. Xiao Changtian didn't wait for Li Feng's reply. He walked out and followed Xiao Changshan's footsteps. Boom! 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 In the sky above the island, waves of thunder and lightning slowly appeared. At the bottom of the lake, the black water dragon was hiding in a corner, looking up at the sky in fear. It was as if something terrible was about to happen. At the bottom of the lake, the ancestral dragon found a corner and circled around like the blackwater dragon. Senior ancestral dragon, what happened? At this moment, the black flood dragon said slowly to the ancestral dragon. Seeing that the ancestral dragon seemed to be a little afraid, he was not confident either. What exactly happened that even senior ancestral dragon felt fear? Xiao He, you still don't know this. I also don't know who offended Master. Since we've known each other for so long, I'm telling you, you'd better stay here and don't move. At the same time, in the back mountain of the island, Black Tortoise commanded the fat Rongrong to hide in a corner of the Montenegro. Old Turtle, why did you come to my place? In the corner, White Tiger also mocked Black Tortoise. I saw the Black Bear sneaking around here and came over to take a look. Chapter 686, I'd like to see how you threaten my life. 1. In a dark palace of the evil race. Wu Xia, how did it go? General Yan sat on a chair above the palace and looked at Wu Xia as he spoke slowly. When Wu Xia heard General Yan's words, she cupped her fists at him and said slowly, Lord Flame General, fortunately, we didn't fail our mission. That little girl has already been hit by the soul-chasing needle. I don't think I have long to live. Ha ha ha. Hearing Wu Xia's report, General Yan laughed out loud. Following that, he stood up from his seat and walked towards Wu Xia. He came to Wu Xia's side and patted Wu Xia's shoulder, saying slowly to him, Wu Xia, well done. I will report your achievements to the higher-ups. When Wu Xia heard Yan Jiang's words, she said slowly to him, Thank you for your praise, my lord. I wonder what that old fellow, Ling Zhu, will do when he finds out that this little girl has been killed by our evil race. What's your expression like? It should be very interesting. It's to let those humans see that our evil race is invincible. As he said that, General Yan also walked out of the hall. At the same time, in the 100,000 mountains, a group of divine beasts floated in the back of the mountain. They looked at the great sun immortal in front of them and said to him slowly, Taoist Big Sun, how is it? What did Master say? After gathering together, they discussed with each other and finally asked the great sun immortal to help them gather information. After all, they knew that only Taoist Big Sun had a good relationship with Xiao Changtian. Upon hearing the words of the divine beasts, the great sun immortal hesitated for a moment. Senior didn't say much. He just said that he wanted to kill a few people. Master wants to kill. It'll help Master solve the problem. After the great sun immortal finished speaking, the divine monkey at the side was also eager to give it a try and said slowly to him. Damned monkey, I'll go with you. Who dares to offend master? I'll skin him alive. At this moment, Black Tortoise also started to talk to the divine monkey. The chaos ant also stood up when it saw the excitement of the divine monkey and the Black Tortoise. He slowly said to everyone, Monkey, turtle, don't be anxious. Let Taoist Big Sun finish what he has to say. After the chaos ant finished speaking, the great sun immortal told them about his conversation with Xiao Changtian. To be honest, that was the first time he saw Xiao Changtian like that. After receiving the orders from these divine beasts, the great sun immortal also went to find Xiao Changtian. However, Xiao Changshan's face was gloomy during the few minutes he was with him. He didn't say anything. This was something that the great sun immortal had never done before. Seeing Xiao Changtian like that, the great sun immortal felt even more pressured. When he almost couldn't withstand Xiao Changshan's pressure, he heard Xiao Changtian say to him, Perfected De Yang, can you help me kill a few people? After hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the great sun immortal was also shocked. Miss Gua has been seriously injured by someone, and it is unknown whether she is dead or alive. However, I hope that the great sun immortal can catch the murderer and bring his head here. At that time, Xiao Changshan's tone was something that the great sun immortal would never forget. The coldness in those words could be said to be about to destroy the entire world. While Xiao Changtian was speaking, there was a series of thunder in the sky. As if everything was the will of the heavenly Tao, the great sun immortal quickly agreed. After hearing the words of the great sun immortal, the chaos ant and the others nodded. So that was how it was. When Gui Yurong and the others met him before, they had an inexplicable sense of familiarity with him. Now that they heard the news of her being attacked, they were also very angry. Moreover, it was Xiao Changshan's will to avenge Gui Yurong. At this time, Phoenix also slowly said to everyone, Leave that evil race Wuxia to me. I promise to burn him to ashes. After the Phoenix finished speaking, the other divine beasts also voiced their voices, wanting to help Xiao Changtian. At this moment, the chaos ant slowly said to the others, I can understand everyone's feelings, but it's not good for so many of us to leave Master's side. And all of you want to go. How about this? Leave this matter to me. I'll get someone else to do it for us. The chaos ant had always been by Xiao Changshan's side, so it was the most familiar with Xiao Changtian. After speaking, the group of divine beasts would also listen to his suggestion. Chaos ants, who do you plan to send for us? At this moment, Alpha said slowly to the chaos ant. Upon hearing Alpha's words, the chaos ant also looked into the distance. Righteous Path Alliance. Didn't they want Master's method to purify the evil energy? It was a good opportunity for them to see how important their master was to them. Hearing the chaos ant's words, the divine beasts looked at each other and nodded at the chaos ant. If no one has any objections, then this matter is decided. As soon as he finished speaking, a silver glow flashed on the chaos ant's body. Then, its figure left the divine world. At the same time, in the alternate dimension where the Righteous Tao Alliance was located, the white-browed elder and the others sat around the array. Then, the elders opened their eyes. He looked in a direction of the alternate dimension and saw a tiny spatial rift slowly appearing there. What happened? Could it be that the evil race is invading? At this moment, Man Tian slowly said to the others. The others were also looking at the spatial crack warily. The method to enter this place was controlled by the few of them. Without their permission, it was impossible for others to find the spatial coordinates, let alone enter this place. This was the first time they had seen a spatial rift appear in an alternate dimension. Could it be an evil race invasion? The white-browed elder looked at the spatial rift and muttered. When the Spirit Pearl Elder heard the white-browed elder's words, he looked at the array and shook his head. Seeing that the spatial crack was getting bigger and bigger, the old man from the Spiritual Pearl sect also led a group of elders to attack. He injected his true essence into the spatial rift. This is not a place you can come to. You should leave quickly to avoid hurting your life. The Grand Array did not change, which meant that it was not an evil race. Then, it was a human race's powerhouse. The old man still cherished the human powerhouses very much. It was likely that some human expert had found this place and thought that it was some mystic realm, so he wanted to come in and investigate. At this moment, a dignified voice slowly came from the spatial crack. Master has treated you with great kindness, but you treat him like this. I want to see how you threaten my life. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.